The world of words, land of thinkers, home of seekers of knowledge, stay tuned to book.
Good evening, listeners. This is another edition of Book Spectrum. My name's Donald Kawangu. Well, my guest today is no other than Pastor Dr. Elijah Miti from Pretoria, South Africa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. And how are you today?
No, I'm all right. And listeners out there, we want you to pay so much attention because today we want to focus mostly on how to write and publish a book. How to write and publish a book. I see. Yes. Now, today there are some questions from a lot of listeners out there. They want you to shed more light on how to write a book and how to publish it. First and foremost, what is involved in writing, or how do someone gather the material so that you come up with something which is so-called a book? Because when I look at you, I see a book in you.
That's right. I think for most Zambians, they have that foundation of writing. We've had very good teachers starting from primary school, secondary school, colleges, universities, and most of the people have really got that command of writing, nice stories, which was composition in most schools. And the art of writing, I think most people have written things, have written stories, some have written poems, some have written novels, but maybe it's just, the finish that they didn't have the opportunity to maybe find a publisher for the book. And I came in with a passion because I've done quite a number of books now. I've actually written a total of 15 books and published for Zambians over 210 books. And in writing, I think the first thing that one has to have is the passion to do it. You really have to have that burning desire to say, I want to write a book. And then, of course, you have to have discipline in terms of time. When you write your goal and say, okay, I want to finish this book by June, then you have to allocate some time. So that's discipline is very important. And then the most important thing in book writing is believing in yourself, believing that you are going to achieve your goal, you are going to attain your goal. That's very important. And the end result is now be in a place where you are not disturbed when you're writing the book. Most of the times I take vacations and I write more when I'm alone and in a quiet place. That's why, in fact, my writing skills are more during that hour when everyone is sleeping. I usually write more from around 2 in the morning to 6.
Thank you so much. I've quoted you saying one has to believe in himself or herself. Why do you think self-esteem is so important
I think in everything that we do, if you give up on yourself, that's the worst disease one can ever have. I think most of the times we have failed in life, not because there are no facilities or there is no money or there is no tools to do it, but it's the will, that self-belief to say, I'm able to do it. Just like coming to work. One can decide today I'm not going for work. And you actually defeat yourself. Some even get sick on their own. That's why most of these things, it starts from the mind. There is a saying that goes that if you are able to defeat the enemy within, enemy outside can do no harm. So you have to believe that I'm able to do it. I can do this. If so many people have done it, why can't you do it?
Okay. Right. So you are saying even those that are still at school, believing in themselves, it's the cardinal point that they should emphasize in order to come up with good pieces of writings.
That's right. In fact, when it comes to school, I have conducted quite a number of workshops in schools. I've done one at Monali, I've done one at Lusaka High and Kablonga Girls. And the stories that these kids have submitted, because what we've done is we want to combine a book just to motivate other schools as well to say, oh, listen, the kids can really write good stories. And through that, I've seen that many even want to write books on their own. There are girls and boys who have approached me to say, listen, we have We have poems. I have been writing stories. The other boy approached me. He has written a very nice big novel. And, it's through, the encouragement. And I have started up a mentorship program where I'm mentoring people throughout the world, those that come to my website, if they want information on how they can write a book. In fact, I've got hard copy of a book called Author's Self-Publishing Manual, which has everything from the beginning to end of publishing and book writing. And also I've got an ebook that people can actually get on my website, which will help you and take you step by step. But in schools, I've seen that kids can do wonders.
I see. Now, Doctor, there is a saying which says, do not judge a book by its cover. From your own point of view as a writer, as an author, and as a publisher, what message do you have for the people? What makes something to be called a good book?
I think what makes a book a good book is not really the cover. Though for marketing purpose, yes, the cover has to be very good. The way you design the cover will attract people, but at the end of the day, it's the content. Because when you are writing a book, you really have to do your research. You really need to organize your work. You really need to write on something that can help others. There's something that I always say, that all these businesses that we see around, they are there to solve a problem. The reason there is butter is because people, buy shoes from butter, and they're able to. So butter solves a problem of shoes. And then those that are in transport, if you want to go to Chaisa today, you jump on a bus. The bus business has solved that. So even as you are writing, bear in mind that you are there to solve a problem. If, say, for instance, you're writing a book on marriage, it shouldn't be writing on how maybe people just met. It should be, it should deal with issues that are in marriage. Say, for instance, communication. How can we break the barrier if, say, two people stop communicating? How can they start communicating again? It can also include things like, there are three important things in marriage. I think you can talk about money. You can talk about, sex itself. You can talk about, communication. So if these things are in play, how do you solve them? That should be the mindset of the author or writer, to solve the problem.
I see. You have talked of communication, and I know writing, it's just a silent way of communicating to someone. Why do you think communication is important? Because I know as an author, you are communicating the message, especially you have 24 hours or else.
That's right.
Why do you think communication is important in everything?
I think communication is a basis of life. Without communication, I don't think there can be organization, there can be order, there would be total chaos. And when you communicate effectively to people, you actually get results much quicker. Just like even in an office kind of arrangement, if there is no boss in the office, if there is no director in the office, if there is no supervisor in the office, things can't actually move. But we have people to sort of issue commands so that things can be productive. So communication is quite very important. I mean, even from a child, a child is communicated to and taught good things through communication. And in writing, as you write, especially that I'm more into missions, I find that it's a very, very, very good tool to reach out people. If people can't, say, attend a meeting in Mansa, and you take books to Mansa, people will be able to read what's happening in Lusaka and what's happening worldwide. That's why we always buy the newspaper, because we want to know what's going on out there. And the papers are actually communicating. They're giving us the information that we need. Even ZNBC radio, you are communicating. You are reaching the outermost parts of Zambia. It's through communication that people are able to actually learn and hear what's going on in this beautiful land, Zambia.
Thank you so much, Doctor. What are the most cardinal points that one should have in mind before writing a book? And then from there, we shall look at publishing of the book, since you are more into publishing.
I think the first important is one needs to choose a title of the book.
Why do you think a title is important?
It's very important because a title will give a message automatically. Like, for instance, I can choose a title, It's Possible. So already right there, you know that, I'm talking about possibilities. What
see.
people think is impossible, it's possible. So the way you choose a title actually attract the buyer and attract the audience of the people. If you choose a book, say, How Bad a Shirt Is, very few people will be attracted to that. But if you said the new shirts in town, that would catch
the attention of the eyes.
That's right. So you have to really choose a very eye-catching title when you're writing the book, and also organize your work very nicely. Like, for instance, if you're writing about a woman, you would describe a woman as a Coca-Cola bottled shape. Then you start from the lead to the body, the shape, and so on. So that would actually structure a story in that manner. And it's like you are building a house. When you are writing, it's like you are building a house. You start from the foundation, you give the information, and you end at roof level, which is actually the settling, so that people are in the shadow. So you need to have organization, you need to have a very eye-catching title, and also have a very good book designer who would design the books to look very attractive. And then, of course, you have to find a publisher. That's where I come in, to see your book, published into a nice book.
Thank you so much. Well, dear listeners, this is Book Spectrum, and my host or my guest today is Pastor Elijah Miti. This is the man who is from Pretoria. He is a pastor and a doctor at the same time. Pastor, you said one also has to be organized. Why do you think organization is so important